Hello there everybody, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today, beautiful? My name is Joesephyr, and in today's video, probably the last video of 2022 in fact, I wanted to give a ranking, and this is a personal ranking, very subjective, don't come for me in the comments, ranking of all of the Square Enix games that have been released in the past 3 months, because there are a lot of them, 7 of them in fact, to rank, none of which are outright bad. So I thought with sales and everything going on after Christmas, some people may want to know which one of these games they may want to purchase, as a lot of them obviously are JRPGs, and I have played all 7 of these games to give you guys some opinions and thoughts on each of them. So if you'd like to, you know, find a reason to come at me in the comments, or if you'd like to know a little bit more about all 7 of these games from the last few months from Square Enix, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Now before we get started, of course, don't forget to check out all of my social media links in the description box below, including Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and of course Patreon. On Patreon, I do always shout out one of my viewers or my patrons every time I release a video so that I can give my thanks to each and every one of you that supports this channel individually. And today that person is going to be Quachacho, who has been a supporter of mine for a long while now. Massive thank you goes out to you. And they don't actually have an RPG, well, not a Final Fantasy character on their title card. They have chosen to have Isabelle from Animal Crossing instead. So if you are interested in having a title card made for you by me, as well as all the other benefits of being a patron, then you don't have to pick a Final Fantasy character if you don't want to, as Quachacho here rightfully shows. So if you're interested in all the benefits that come from that, perhaps consider clicking on that link in the description box too. So we have to start somewhere on this list, and in number 7, I am giving this spot to Valkyrie Elysium. Now, this is not to say that Valkyrie Elysium is bad. It's not. It's actually a perfectly fine game. But when stacked up against a lot of the other games that I'm going to talk about in this video, I did feel that Valkyrie Elysium left something to be desired and left me wanting. So I have actually made a video review on Valkyrie Elysium already, so if you want to know more details about that, you can check it out over there. And it's a perfectly adequate sort of action RPG, which is my favourite kind of genre within gaming overall, but I just felt that like the characters never really stuck with me. It didn't really have any ties to the original Valkyrie games as far as I knew, and as well as talking to other people who played it, and I just kind of wanted there to be a bit more soul in there somewhere. I did feel that it was harkening back to like old PS2 era, like the latter end of it, where there were action RPGs coming out all over the place after Devil May Cry. And I just didn't feel that there was enough kind of modern, I don't know, zhuzh, for want of a better word, within Valkyrie Elysium. So while I enjoyed it, and it being on sale is definitely a worthwhile purchase, as all of these games are, honestly, like I said, none of them are bad, something had to be at the bottom of the list, and unfortunately I'm giving that slot to Valkyrie Elysium. The number 6 on my list is going to go to Dragon Quest Treasures. Now, in my defense, I haven't played Dragon Quest Treasures as much as the others on this list. I've played some of it in the early game, and I'm about 5 or 6 hours in, when normally I give at least 10 before I give a proper sort of, you know, lowdown on how I feel about a game. But with Dragon Quest Treasures, I am a huge Dragon Quest fan. I love Dragon Quest Builders, Dragon Quest Monsters, all the OG Dragon Quest games. I love everything Dragon Quest. So to dive back into a game that had Eric and Mia in it from Dragon Quest XI, I was super excited for. And I love kind of the monster-based mechanics that come with the exploration. But I just felt like I was doing the same thing quite a lot, and obviously I'm still quite early on in the game, and that may develop over time, but having spoken to other people who've played it, they've said similar things to me. And while the draw of treasure is always really nice, and the interactions you have with the various monsters you add to your party, and obviously the references to other Dragon Quest games are all well and good, this one I just felt lacked a little bit of the polish that I've seen in other Dragon Quest titles, particularly Dragon Quest XI. And I know that the spin-offs tend to not get quite as much love as the main entries of the franchise, but Builders certainly had it, and Monsters had it back in the day, so I don't see why Treasures didn't seem to get quite as much love. Number 5, I am giving this position to Harvestella. So Harvestella is actually very good. Like, I won't sit there and say it's bad. None of these games are bad. I know I keep saying it, but that's because I'm waiting for people to come in the comments for the order in which I've put these, and I don't want them to. But Harvestella is a perfectly fine game, and I definitely really enjoyed my time with it. I streamed it quite a few times, and I spoke to a lot of people that really enjoyed themselves with it. And it definitely does give me that Dark Chronicle vibe, which is a game I loved back on the PS2. Nowadays, I'm not sure that a game like that would necessarily float my boat as much. I couldn't tell you exactly what I felt was wrong with Harvestella, or if anything. I do feel, once again, that maybe budget constraints were a part of it. Like, it didn't have as much polish, like it's not completely voice acted, and a lot of the farming sim aspects of it actually seem to take a back seat in the game. And I spent maybe 15 hours with this total, so I never finished Harvestella because I just felt like, again, like the daily cycle was kind of coming to a bit of a grind, and the characters didn't compel me as much as they have done in some of the other games. But I do really like the action RPG aspects of it, like the side questing, that Dark Chronicle-esque for like kind of going through the dungeons, having a certain amount of energy that you can use before you have to get back before the end of the day. I'm not a massive Rune Factory fan, but I definitely see elements of that in Harvestella that a lot of people who do like Rune Factory will really enjoy. And if you're looking for that kind of portable experience, I played this on Steam and on my Steam Deck, and it was fabulous on there, and it's a really good game on the Switch too. There were just little elements of it that didn't quite elevate it. I wouldn't say there was anything wrong with Harvestella, I just think that, like Dragon Quest Treasures and Valkyrie Elysium, it just needed a little bit of elevation to be up there with the ones at the top of this list. So number 4 is going to go to Joesephyr Chronicle. Now, Joesephyr Chronicle I actually really enjoy. Like, when this came out back in October, or late September, something around that area, I really enjoyed streaming it. I really enjoyed a lot of what was going on with this game. I felt that the characters were very compelling. I really like the kind of real-time version of the tactical RPG that Joesephyr presents. However, I think for a lot of people, the story in this game is quite light. It ramps up quite a lot in the late game, but for the first half of the game, a lot of the kind of cutscenes and things like that are quite minimalistic, so it's just kind of talking and you being told about what's happening in the world of Joesephyr Chronicle rather than actually seeing it play out in front of you, and that might be quite jarring for players who are looking for a purely narrative experience. But the gameplay loop I found so enjoyable that I saw past it, and honestly this was probably tied with third place for me because I did really enjoy it, and I would definitely recommend it. I've actually seen it go pretty cheap on sale, so I think it was about 25 quid on the Christmas sale last time I checked, so if you wanted something that's going to give you a bit of longevity, Joesephyr Chronicle is it. Now, number 3 on my list might surprise you a little bit, because a lot of people would probably put this lower, but for me, it's Star Ocean Divine Force. Now, I loved Star Ocean till the end of time back as a teenager, and I didn't really get on with any of the ones that followed it until this one. I've really thoroughly enjoyed my time with Star Ocean. I love the music, I love the story, even though the story is a little bit, I'll say it again, old school sort of PS2, PS3 era RPG, which I love, but maybe other people not so much. And the graphics, yeah, they are a bit rough around the edges, let's say, but I just think that the core gameplay loop, having the ability to just fly around arenas, like movement speed and music, are both very, very important factors to me when it comes to a good RPG, and Star Ocean serves that in droves. The mini games in it are really enjoyable. The characters in there are actually really good if you can look past Raymond, the main character's horrendous haircut, and controlling the characters felt fluid and fun. So again, with this being on sale, I would wholly recommend this. It's a very long experience as well. Like, if you're going for platinum trophies, like I tend to do with my games, you're in for a long haul with Star Ocean, so you get a lot of time out of this for your money. So number 2, I think, might be the hot take for as far as a lot of people are concerned, but it's gonna go to Crisis Core Reunion. So Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion, I know, is a game that a lot of people were really excited about. I was really excited about it, and in my review, which I've posted on YouTube already, I very much stated that this is the gold standard for what a remaster of a game should look like, in one way. Number 1 is the other one. And I do think that Crisis Core, at its core, is a really great game to play. Like, there's a lot of you know, just great interactions with Zack, who's a fantastic character, and some of your favourites from Final Fantasy VII come out really well in this, like Aerith and Cloud. Love seeing those characters. However, I definitely came at Crisis Core Reunion as somebody who didn't love Crisis Core the first time around. And the reasons for that are twofold. So the first one is that the side missions, of which there are a great many of them, largely feel the same. Like you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And that's very cathartic when you're playing it on a portable console. And it still can be if you're playing it on, say, Switch or the Steam Deck, which I did. But if you're looking for a console experience, then you might find that you burn out of that quite a lot. And then those looking for the narrative experience, I like Zack a lot. I have less nice things to say about the supporting cast of Crisis Core. Like, Genesis, to me, is the weakest villain in Final Fantasy history, and I don't have a lot of nice things to say about him, so I apologise to any major Genesis fans out there. And I could make an entire video about Sephiroth and how I feel that his appearances outside of Final Fantasy VII dilute his character a little bit for me, and Crisis Core is definitely one of the factors that plays into that. But I know that that's a rare opinion, and I know a lot of people love Sephiroth's appearances in Crisis Core. But if you want to hear more about my reasoning behind my feelings towards Sephiroth in that matter, because he is still one of my favourite characters in gaming history, then comment below and let me know what you think about that, because I could always make a video on that. But other than that, it is still a really good game. It's still in my number 2 slot for a reason. There's a lot to love about it. It's very easy to play around with. There's a lot of very breakable things in Crisis Core, which I really enjoy. Costly Punch, just get Costly Punch. And there's a lot to love about it. So if you are looking for a springboard point to jump into Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core's a solid shot. So, number 1 probably doesn't come as a surprise to many of you who've watched my channel for a little while, because I gushed over it endlessly when it came out because I was so excited for it, is Tactics Ogre Reborn. Tactics Ogre Reborn is the other gold standard to me of what a remaster should look like. Yeah, well, I say that, like, this is in terms of the gameplay mechanics. Like, the streamlining that they've done in Tactics Ogre Reborn from the original Tactics Ogre is chef's kiss. It's so good. Everything feels more streamlined, feels more smooth. You're just playing it. It's not an easy game, absolutely not. If you've played Tactics Ogre in any of its forms, you'll know that that game is challenging, to say the least. But I love the challenge that's presented by Tactics Ogre. The game itself is hard, but it's rewarding as well. The character, all of the characters in the story are actually very good. I really just enjoy that pure tactical RPG experience, and Tactics Ogre is like the origin point for all of the tactical RPGs that came after it, including some of the ones on this, like Deerfield Chronicle. There's so many different ways that formula has been taken, but to go back to that origin point and it still hold up as well as it does to this day, honestly, I can't wait to see where they take this next. Like, if they're going to do like an FF Tactics remaster that looks anything like this, I am very, very excited for it. So yeah, that's all of my opinions based on the 7 games that have come out in the last few months from Square Enix. There's so many releases coming out in 2023 that I'm excited about. Theatrhythm gives me so much life, and I'm actually planning on doing a really lovely charity event with Theatrhythm's release. I'm not going to give you details yet, but that is coming. Then of course we have Final Fantasy XIV patches coming up. We have Final Fantasy 16 in the summer, Ever Crisis whenever it decides to turn up, FF7 Rebirth, and that's just Final Fantasy titles that we know about now. Square Enix has got so many titles coming out over the next year. Maybe we'll hear something more about Dragon Quest XII? That would be really nice, wouldn't it? So there's so much to look forward to there, but I thought I would make this video for people who perhaps were looking at what they may want to purchase, maybe avoid, maybe not realise it's for them, that kind of thing. So let me know if you've enjoyed this video in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications on any future videos I might be making. And that's going to be it from me, beautiful. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. I wish you a very happy New Year. I will try to get a video out on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, because there's a lot of obviously updates that have happened to the channel itself that I'm looking forward to sharing with everybody. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. So thank you very much for watching, beautiful, and I'll see you next time. Take care.